Let's play a banjo for TNA news, TNA/WWE news, I guess. It's So Trick Williams showed up out of nowhere and attacked. Spoiler alert, by the way. Joe Hendry retained his title, and Trick Williams showed up and attacked him. And Hendry hit an attitude adjustment off the apron through a table. And, yeah, Trick Williams showed up and attacked him, dude.
Thank you for joining us tonight at Rebellion. Oh my God!
And the crowd wants to cheer, but Trick, man, he might be going into his heel era too, dude.
Trick Williams from NXT.
Or at least he can play a heel in TNA, because that's what you want. You want the TNA fans to boo the NXT people the longer this invasion goes, you know? And then you want them to be shocked and cheer when crazy happens, but you want the NXT guys to be heels in TNA for the most part, and then the TNA guys to be the heels in NXT for the most part.
You saw Joe Hendry on Tuesday. He and Obafemi embarrassed Trick Williams. Well, what goes around apparently has come
Yeah, if I said Punk and meant Seth, that's what I meant. Whatever. Sorry.
around for the TNA World Champion.
I don't know if that was directed at me.
What the hell?
Trick shot.
And yeah, Theory and Waller have a lack of communication. So what happened? These boots here were preserved, and Chris Bay tells a story about when he couldn't walk. And Logan Paul's just making his entrance. When he couldn't walk, though, he was paralyzed, and the ambulance, the paramedics or whatever, were gonna cut his boots off. Right? They're like, we have to cut them. And even though he couldn't even move, he was paralyzed, and he's like, no, they're new boots. Like, please don't cut them. And he's like, please, I'll explain how to unlatch them. And he explained that for them how to get them off, and then he preserved them. And that's amazing. So WWE Hall of Famer X-Pac, Shawn Waltman, showed up at Rebellion as well.
But here is the backup.
And in their corner, a former TNA X Division champion and a
Oh, yeah, he was an X Division champ. Didn't X-Pac famously tell a story where he wrestled AJ Styles high on meth before? That's wild, dude.
two-time WWE Hall of
Shout him out, too, for, like, overcoming all that and being, like, seemingly healthy and good in life. That's so good, you know? I remember on the Surreal Life, or the Surreal, I think it's called the Surreal Life, yeah. Or whatever, that show was with the celebrities where China was on it and X-Pac showed up there all up.
Famer, Shawn.
The boys from the treehouse. Either way, the boys looking good in the black and green with the Hall of Famer.
Logan Paul's cutting a promo. Mean Gia Miller stands by with TNA's newest knockout, Indy Hartwell. Indy Hartwell is in
Gentlemen,
TNA,
I'm standing by
which is amazing.
with the newest signing to the Knockouts division, Indy Hartwell. Indy, how does it feel to be a knockout?
Oh, I mean, like, you can hear them. Gia, this is a dream come true for me, honestly. Like, oh, yeah.
Crowd's hype for her, and yeah, man, we said it here on PWT. She's got to go to TNA and just wreck, you know, be the top woman against, if she can get herself over as a babyface and just be the one to go after Tessa and, you know, be the yin to her evil yang.
It's a dream come true for me, and I want to say it's officially official. Indy Hartwell has crossed the line.
What a moment, and as you can see there, Indy Hartwell's crossed the line.
That's awesome. So Leon Slater hit a Swanton 450 off the top of a steel beam, and no one caught him.
Oh, God.
Leon, stop.
That's well over 15 feet in the air.
If not higher, Slater is insane!
You guys see that? So no one caught his ass.
Oh, God.
Leon, stop.
That's well over 15 feet in the air.
if not higher. Slater is insane! Holy God!
You know, he was fine, right? He was fine, but it upset some people. So Ricky Morton tweeted out, "I'm disappointed. Leon gave you his trust and body on the line for an amazing moment, and all of you dropped him. Thank God he walked away. In our business, trust is everything, and his trust may never be the same." And so Ricky Morton said, "I will add, don't agree to stuff if you don't feel confident and comfortable. Speak up. I assure you, it won't make you any less of a wrestler." Damn. And then Sidney Akeem responded and was like, "It was most definitely inexcusable. Not going to point blame because we all should have been better." And yeah, Reggie gets it, man. Sidney Akeem. Damn, I got to like all that. Ricky Morton was like offended and disappointed by that. Scary, scary, scary stuff. And so Jordynne Grace put out a tweet where Jordynne Grace said, and she deleted this tweet. And so I guess she said, "The higher, heavier, faster the person is falling, the harder it is to catch them. The likelihood of injury to yourself if you do catch them is extremely high." And so a lot of people were like, "Well, that's dumb, because what about them? Like, what are you talking about?" And so Phil Brooks's toupee says she deleted it because she got too much heat. "I hope everyone who works with her is very apprehensive of their safety because she clearly doesn't give a," which is like such an extreme to go to. But then Jordynne responded and was like, "No, I was saying these are the factual risks everyone involved needs to be aware of, and trying to shed a light on the level of difficulty which wrestlers often neglect to take into account before agreeing to these things. Deleted because if people thought this is what I was saying, I didn't articulate myself well enough." And then he's like, "Actually, you absolutely positioned it as an excuse as to why not catching people is understandable. You weren't explaining baseline physics that every person understands. The likelihood of injury to yourself if you do catch them is extremely high." And she's like, "Don't be shy, post the rest." And then he's like, "Oh, the thread you deleted? Yeah, let me post that. Here's one you can read." And then Gringo Loco said, "The problem with people not catching people on dives is the lack of accountability. There's no one stepping up and saying what you did was unacceptable. There's no punishment. There's no warning. Until this is somehow fixed, people will continue to risk their lives with only the hope that they will be caught. This is an important and vital part of the business." Yeah, so the guy's going hard. It seems like he's really got a personal gripe with Jordynne Grace. Yeah, her comment, I would say, isn't I get why she caught heat, to be honest. And I wouldn't like question her but well, I don't know. That's the thing. Like, people used to give Miz all the time for not catching people, and now that's not an issue. You have to take accountability, like Gringo Loco said. That's not an excuse like, "Oh, you might get hurt." Then say, "I'm not catching a guy who's jumping off a beam." Like, if the guy goes, "I'm jumping off the beam," and you all go, "We're going to catch you," you have to catch him. It's that simple, because he could die. You might sprain a wrist. He could splat his head. So in Minecraft, right? Yeah, I get why she didn't. She must have not articulated properly. That person's mad, but also, yeah, I think Gringo Loco's the right one. Okay, so Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff dropped this ominous promo. And yeah, let's see what they had to say here. They're launching something. Now, I put a poll in the chat over on, if you guys are on X, come on over to YouTube, and the link is somewhere. I'm going to end the poll on the Clips channel. 31% of you. There's still a poll running on the Times channel, so get over there and vote. Or I'll actually leave this. I'm actually going to leave this poll up the whole show. You want to know why? Because we're not getting an answer tonight. So 31% thus far saying Kevin Nash, 5% are saying Shawn Waltman, 29% are saying Conrad Thompson, and 35% are saying Blue Chew. So let's watch this vignette here. Hollywood's back, brother, as Becky Hogan makes her way to the ring.
Why so serious? Because you know who I am. But you don't know why he's here. This is so badass. Like, you people know who we are. You have no idea what we're about. We're back, Holster.
It's got to be a podcast. Like Nash, Hogan, and Bischoff. It's got to be.
Are so back.
Or like, yeah.
so better than before.
Or Conrad Thompson, like maybe because Bischoff's like, I'm done doing 80, or he didn't say he's done doing 83 weeks, but he's like, I'm done covering wrestling, rather, whatever. I'm done being a part of wrestling. But then he's doing this. Maybe maybe Conrad Thompson got the Hogan podcast, but it's like a new show with Bischoff involved as well. You know, and they'll just focus on all Hogan, and maybe they got Hogan to finally agree to it, but Bischoff has to be there and be a part of it, and maybe Bischoff helped negotiate it a bit, because obviously he'll get a, oh, come on now, Eric, that's not very fair. Now it's not 50-50. Now it's got to be split up 50-50-50-50.
It is so good
I
to see you again, my brother.
Oh, it's been too long. I love you the most. No, I love you the most. You are my favorite of all favorites. But you know, we ran so hard. We changed the world one time. But now, we're here to wake them up. We're here to slice and dice the world of wrestling. And you're not going to know what hit you.
You know we've changed the world of professional wrestling.
You can beat anybody.
That's a given.
Anybody.
It's going to rock your world. Hey, should we tell him? Should we tell him who our third man is? Should we talk about his credentials? Should we talk about all of his championships? Should we talk about the world-class athletes that he has brought to the very top of this one? Should we talk about that? No. Not yet. But do stay tuned, because when we do announce our third man, it's going to rock your world.
Oh, he's a badass, too. He's a real badass.
We're back. We're better than ever. And you can't wait to see.
And we're coming to get you. I think they're all coming back to our side.
I know it. I can feel it.
So this has got to be a podcast where Hogan finally shoots brother, right? But the third man they're talking about, he has championships. He's elevated wrestlers and all this. Who knows, man? It could be Conrad, because he has all those belts, right? And he's helped all these like old podcasts, like all these old wrestlers get podcasts off the ground. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's them three, and then Bischoff's there to sort of like, and then they can re-talk about all the NWO stuff that Conrad's already talked about with Bischoff, and then, but Hogan can give his perspective, and then Bischoff's a part of it. I could totally see that. I think it's got to be someone NWO themed, though. Maybe it's Kevin Nash, Bischoff, Hogan podcast. Well, let me tell you something, Jack. It's Vince McMahon. Do you guys think it's Vince? What if it was Vince McMahon? And then they're like, we're starting a new Fed. Vince owns it. Bischoff's his main guy, and Hogan's the main guy as well. And those three start a new Fed together or something. That'd be crazy. Could you imagine, though, if it's Vince McMahon? Yeah, get out there, Hogan. Land one more leg. One more leg drop, pal. It could be Mabel. How about Kevin Nash and Shawn Waltman? Let's add a fourth man. Yeah. Right? It's got to be a podcast or something. But they are talking about wrestling and all this stuff. So what if it was Vince and Bischoff and Hogan, and they're like, we're starting well, you know something, Jack? I used to be all about America, but now I'm all about Saudi blood money, dude. And let me tell you something, brother. We're starting a Saudi-fed Uganda soft ground wrestling, but in Saudi, dude. And it's an all-female division, per request of Mr. McMahon, Jack. And everyone's entrance involves a private plane, yeah. So here's Bret Hart putting Regis Philbin in a sharpshooter.
This feels pretty good.
All right, you got
Easy! Easy!
You got a lot on your back.
On my back.
Just ask him. He'll do it.
Okay, my sharpshooter. This is
Hey!
what you
Hey!
Now don't hurt him, Brett.
Hey! Freaking Finale, get down here!
Okay, hold on. We're gonna roll this way. You've been beaten into submission.
Oh my
God.
And I can sit back.
You know, that looks painful. Is that painful?
No, that wasn't painful. Holy cow.
Hell yeah. Here's Shelton Benjamin with Maven Huffman. Make sure you subscribe to Maven Huffman's channel. On his interaction with Brock Lesnar in the 2020 Royal Rumble, Shelton Benjamin says, Vince enjoyed it so much he immediately had talent relations call me, and they gave me a 6-figure raise.
They originally wanted us to just go at it, and he decided he didn't want to do that. He said, let's do this. This whole thing was his idea, and I wasn't really on board with it, only because I'm like, well, this makes me look stupid. So I was just kind of like, you know what? He's got 30 other guys he's got to worry about.
Yeah.
Like, just give him the breather.
Make this part of his night easy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what I didn't expect was fans to...
Imagine how hard that must have been, you know, when they come with that idea, Brock's just going to throw half the people out, then get eliminated super quick himself. Which, again, that was one of the best Rumbles of all time. You know, there's 15 guys there that Brock has to convince, like, I'm going to throw you out like nothing. This way and that way and this. You know what I mean? Think about that. The egos and everybody like, well, you know, why? Well, I want to be one of the later 30, you know? Because they gave us so many moments. The Shelton part, the Matt Riddle part, when Brock and Matt Riddle famously were like never going to work together, whatever. When Brock got eliminated, like that was so meticulously planned and so good. Zesty Rollins is in the ring, by the way.
Who really like it, want it. But I just always wish they would have just let us do something, because, like I said, we came in.
You guys could have made magic.
We could have had so much fun.
You guys could have made magic.
Here's the silver lining on all of this. I had just signed a new contract with WWE. Vince, I guess, had kind of went back and rewatched, maybe a week or so later, he went and rewatched the Rumble. Because of this spot, Vince enjoyed it so much, he immediately had talent relationship call me in, and they gave me a 6-figure raise.
Really?
Yes.
My boys eat.
And I was like,
off of a German,
off of
a German and an elimination.
Right. It's one of those, man. I'm glad I didn't fight it.
You're like of all the I've done
that. Yes.
Damn, they give him a big raise for that. So Mayu Iwatani announces Stardom departure. So keep eyes on that. Rumors she'll be in WWE. Tetsuya Naito has dismissed the idea of his New Japan exit being money related, saying he never made unreasonable demands during negotiations. Because of course, people are going to on him and try and say that's what he did. People are going to say his body's falling apart. Rob Van Dam suffered a double heel fracture at MLW Battle Riot. Okay, where he came in at number 40 during the Battle Riot match. Queen Sharmell is returning to the ring for her first time since 2009. Never the best wrestler, let's be honest, but she's taking on Tiffany Neves at No Limits, ROW No Limits. So, yeah, just putting people over in ROW. You know, Booker T's got the pull, so shout him out. And Gabe Kidd calls out Tom Pestock, a.k.a. Bishop Dyer, f.k.a. Baron Corbin. Gabe Kidd's like, you want to fight? Let's fight, pussy. And then Pestock, Corbin is like, you definitely talk like a tough guy, but you realize after we fight, the whole world will know if you're an actual tough guy or just another punk bitch. Now, on this note, I saw a clip as well of Paul London saying that he worked with Kenta at MLW, and Kenta was being like a diva, and that Paul London was like, if I were to he's like, if I were to blood sport anybody, if I were to call anyone out for like a work shoot, he's like, it'd be Kenta, because I think he's a fake tough guy with those fake kicks. He's like, and I think I could stretch him pretty much. He said that. Paul London said that on Cafe de Rene, and they're not working, bro. Like, I don't think he was working, because he like buried him being a diva. It wasn't about like, oh, he's a fake tough guy. That was like one aspect of it at the end. Paul's like, I think I could whip him pretty much. But Paul was burying like, no, he's difficult to work with. He doesn't want to do anything. Makes me hard. It's like, even the stuff I wanted to give him, he's like rejecting. And so I don't know, man. Obviously, Tom and Gabe are probably working, but yeah, that was miscellaneous news.